Welcome, everybody, to episode number 38, Digital Climax Kings. I'm the Dead On Leprechaun, joined by Prophets and Agent X. Say hello, boys.
Top of the
You know,
evening to you,
the
Leprechaun.
intro was very catchy.
Right?
I like it. It is. It's like a little mini dance party.
That's right.
Loosen up for Freestyle Friday. Guys, I got some positive news.
Let's hear it. Spew it.
Did you hear about what the Russians and the Ukrainians brokered regarding the oh, got an Amber Alert coming through. That's not good news. They brokered a deal, so now the world might not starve to death.
Ooh.
Allowed grain to be exported through the ports, but then I heard that Ukraine has so many mines planted in the ports that could be a little dicey situation. Stay tuned.
I'm so tired of this soap opera. It's like a soap opera, man. I mean,
it really is. Agent, are you familiar with the billion golden?
Well, no, you mentioned it, but
yeah. So the Russians are talking. The generals are mentioning that term a lot now, and throwing it out there to kind of like show their agenda, which is like they're making their case for what they're doing. I just thought that was interesting.
As far as I know, China and Russia has all the gold. America doesn't have anything anymore, dude, but like debt and crazy people.
When you read what Putin actually said the other day when he used that term, it's interesting because he's really making a lot of sense talking about the tyranny that we see throughout the world caused by a lot of like Western civilizations. But what they're trying to do is make it like a more, I don't know. I mean, yeah, when you're leading a war, you say what you got to say, but a lot of his stuff makes a lot of sense.
Well,
not sticking up for the guy, just saying it's a lot more logical than our leader is at the moment.
I'm a Machiavellian. All these people are terrible people. So you got one group of terrible people fighting another group of terrible people. You got the normies that support them, and you got the people on the outside that can see it's all bullshit. Yeah, but no, I mean honestly, as far as the food goes, I mean there's literally a guy that made a machine. It's like a dehumidifier, but it's huge and it sucks water from the atmosphere to make clean, drinkable water. And this guy has not won a Nobel Peace Prize.
All right, Agent, we need to get blueprints for that and maybe share them on the show because the world could use that. I could use that down here in Texas. I know you could too.
This is the thing. People know about him. He's not getting any funding. He has to do a GoFundMe, no investment. But once again, it's like the normies don't care, like at all, which is kind of sad. They care more about Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm trying to look at it from a positive side. We can program these normies using the same technology just like they have been doing. We just got to, maybe make it a group effort. Like we do with the algorithm, by not saying certain things, you're not going to get shadow banned. But what if we start saying certain things that creates type of like mental change? How do we trigger people in a positive way? I don't know.
We got to give them hope.
Give them hope. You know what? That's what Obama did in 2008. I saw it. I was in Albuquerque at the time, and the amount of hope that was instilled in these people, it was amazing because I was doing pest control. So I mingled with everybody, and that hope and change got him the presidency.
I think a good catchy catchphrase got him the presidency.
Yeah,
like
right?
The last guy. Like, it's like, dude, I don't know. I'm not as hating and pessimistic as I used to be, but I mean, it's a catchphrase. He gave them a catchphrase. So life seems a lot like Rick and Morty. You give people a catchphrase and they're happy. But you really got to put work in. And like right now, I mean, like hydroponics should be big. Everybody should immediately be doing that, and doing something with the food and growing natural food in their facility.
All right, Agent, I think I have a challenge then for you, for us. What we could do, because as I mentioned to Agent yesterday, I got a little part-time gig going on with a mini farm, helping some older folks out. They also run. This is interesting, Lep. They're like one of the only companies in the country that goes around collecting all the abandoned fifth wheels, or just fifth wheels people scrap them.
We lost profits,
Oh, probably because he's out in the country.
right? He's pretending to be in America right now.
Well, no, he's out in the country part of Texas, which is
No, I know.
beautiful.
I'm just
Yeah,
teasing.
he
He
has
flashed.
natural. He has like natural water and lakes and fish and
Yo,
Oh, he's back.
yo.
all right. I had to. I was actually on a weak Wi-Fi. Now I'm just off the Wi-Fi on service. So, anyways, where did I lose you guys at?
You
About you
started
working at this cool place.
Okay,
yep,
yeah. So I
part-time
got a
gig.
little part-time gig at this mini farm, and so maybe we could start documenting something to help people figure out how to do this stuff.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
I could be
down.
like in the field taking pictures. Okay, this is how you actually do a garden. This is how you sustain food. Because there's a lot of people that do not know how to do that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Most people.
Anywho, that was just my thought, Agent. Sorry for interrupting.
No, no, it's cool. You know me. I pessimistic sometimes.
Nah, we all are. We all can be.
But yeah, going back to your thing
But
about what
what
do
what
we
do
do
you
to
what
get
have you been
people?
looking at?
Oh, go ahead.
I said, what have you been looking at lately?
I've been just kind of looking at a little bit of everything. I mean, obviously, we've heard that Biden's got the coof, and he's supposedly double vaxxed, double boosted. That didn't seem to really change anything for anybody in his circle because, they said, oh, it was such an achievement that he made it this long without catching coof, and he's gotten all the pokes.
All right.
He's done everything he's supposed to do, and I just had the coof myself, and I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that this latest strain of Omicron that's running around is extremely contagious. Like we don't even do much or go to too many places anymore. We're outside of our family circle, and it didn't matter. I mean, it's out there. When school gets back, here in the fall, it's just going to go crazy. We're going to see potentially, I think, another shutdown, and if they go, the way of masking, like California is talking about bringing back the mask mandates and stuff, people are not going to tolerate it. I mean, it's going to be bad. What else is going on? Netflix is hemorrhaging subscribers like crazy. They're talking about bringing an ad-based tier on. So streaming services in general are all kind of
No,
competing for the same customers.
no,
But yeah, it's just in general, like we're having the up and down dead cat bounces in the stock market. One day it's way down, one day it's way up. Some people say that I think Bank of America is saying that they think we're in a mild recession already, but I think most people would agree that we're in a recession.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue against it when you really look from a global perspective. I was just watching a guy talk about how Venezuela fell, and they were the top dogs for a minute in South America. But I guess it was 10 years of a socialistic rulership. The guy, what was his name? Not Maduro, but Chavez.
Chavez.
Yeah, he started all these, like they mentioned, free healthcare setups and all this. And to keep them going, they started printing more bolivars and they printed it into worthlessness. And that's exactly what we're seeing here, but kind of in a more slowed down way. And now, like, it's weird because they have the dollar gaining so much strength against all these other currencies. It's like wiping economies out because now people that were paying $20 in like euros for steak are having to pay like $30. Like it's just weird how all these uh, financial theory has always amazed me, guys. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's all based on faith.
Yep, and some luck.
Yeah, I mean
And
the Russian ruble, it's gone. Look at that chart, Agent. It's amazing. Me and Agent are chart geeks, and you see stuff like that. It's like, okay, something's happening in the background.
Well, and I think the whole thing with the our oil crisis and the way that they're trying to get more oil out of the Saudis and whatnot. But the reality is that all that's really happening is we pulled out of buying Russian oil, and then all that is happening in the rest of the world is they're buying the oil from Russia, and then they're going to end up selling it back to us. So we're buying it third party, basically. Instead of bypassing the middleman, we're going through like distributing, and now we're paying a middleman cost that is just going to be ridiculous. I mean, the prices have come down by a few cents in the last few weeks, but the reality is that these prices are here to stay. I don't even think that
Yeah,
a change in leadership is going to change the price of fuel. And wait till we
no,
hit winter, dude. It's fall and winter is coming, and when people start buying some heating oil at these new prices, dude, the pain that we're feeling right now is going to be like a walk in the
I
park
went
compared to what's
to,
coming.
dude, if we go to Walmart, you can chart inflation by Walmart every 2 weeks. Prices raise up just about. Now a regular bottle of vegetable oil is 3.47 or 27, up from like $1.47, then $1.68, and then it turned into that. I mean, like one freaking plantain is like 98 cents. So I mean, it's pretty crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah.
you know,
And do you see
I
Avocados,
anything
can.
three
coming back?
bucks.
Do you see any of those prices ever coming back?
If they can fix the supply chain, but that's probably not going to be fixed. So, only thing we could do, this is our one chance to really take supply chain back and like just grow our food locally and regionally. Like a lot of our food is made here. I heard they was doing it to chicken. So they had chickens and stuff here. They'll ship it over to China. They cut it up and stuff, and then they ship it back to America, which is just quite
Yeah.
crazy, you know. So, um, yeah, I think gas prices actually is gonna go down a lot. I think everything's gonna go down, so we might end up getting the opposite problem, which is everything. Remember how all these stores had TVs, and then they stopped selling as many TVs in the stores because they couldn't make money from it because the TVs got so cheap.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been technology in general, but yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying.
I think that's gonna happen to a lot of stuff. I think because a lot of this stuff people don't need anymore. Like all these stores selling all these clothes, and they all selling the same stuff, and you don't need as much of it.
I agree with you, but my question is do you ever see that now that people have shown that they're willing to pay these crazy high prices, can you really see these companies letting the boot back off our necks and be like, "Oh, we're going to drop our prices." I mean, I know competition will do that if somebody else drops their price. Competitors will have to, adjust accordingly, but can you really see them letting up enough to where the people that are putting everything on credit cards today, I mean, that's the other thing is that people are buying fuel and groceries on credit cards, and the debt exponentially is going up crazy numbers every single month. And at
Mm-hmm.
some point, that's just got to give.
I think what's gonna probably pop first is the housing. Before I think people can they can whittle through this with credit cards or being thrifty, but they won't be able to whittle through the housing issue because, like here, I think houses start at 300,000. They're popping off at five. People aren't getting married anymore like they were. If they aren't having gigantic families. So why is every home being built a 5 bedroom giant house? Every apartment is a luxury apartment. Even apartments that aren't luxury are luxury. So even if you work a full time job, 90% of your income is going. Like you won't even have the money to buy any of this stuff, and you won't have enough income to get the credit cards to put all this stuff on credit. Like I think this housing thing is going to be a bubble that's going to pop like we can't even imagine. Like it's going to be bad because I have a friend in New York. This guy makes, I think he told me he makes 90,000 a year, and he's still broke. The rent is so expensive. So you got an issue where who owns most of these homes? Who owns most of these apartment complexes? It ain't local people. I can tell you that much. So
Yeah, and we're already
I think
seeing mortgage
that's
applications drop.
yeah, because you can't even it's you. It gets to the point now where a regular job is simply not going to be able to pay for rent. So you have average people; they're not going to be able to get a studio apartment. A studio apartment now, on average, is what $1,400. Technically, you're supposed to make $100,000 a year to pay for that. So that means everybody who's in a studio apartment right now, who's working full time, they are in a bad situation, a worse situation they think they're not going to be able to keep doing.
Agent X, are you saying that the American dream is compromised?
Um, uh, Dude, I'm
I
saying the
mean,
house
like
market is screwed.
to live an average life portrayed as the American dream, it's kind of almost unrealistic. You know,
Well,
unless you're
well,
making seven figures.
yeah, but two is people lifestyles, man. They want big houses. They don't want small
True.
houses. They don't want fast cars. And I think everybody forgets, if you remember, before COVID hit, this is what I think COVID gave everybody a break. You had an opportunity to change some stuff. It messed a lot of stuff up, but people don't remember before COVID, people weren't shopping in retail stores. It was just like this. People were putting everything on credit cards. People were shopping online. Torah Us shut down. Remember, I don't know if everybody remembers that. So we are right back to where we were post COVID. Trump was a good president, but stuff was still in reality. That's reality. People didn't have money.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, and it was kind of deflationary back then.
Yeah,
Everything was
remember?
prices were
Yeah.
coming down. Yeah,
Yeah, so it was good prices going up, but nobody was making money, and the stuff that people had, people didn't need all that stuff. So it's like now, even if you had the money to buy a house, do you really want to spend $300,000, $400,000 on a house? People get it because they feel like they have to get it, but then you can't afford an apartment. So even before we even talk about, I think the prices in the stores, you have to have a place to stay to put that
yeah,
stuff
and
in.
you're not wrong because what is it? They say 30% of your income is for mortgage or rent, and then anything beyond that, you're kind of in the danger zone.
Yeah, it's over, bro. I mean, it's like, and you got to think about too. If you're an average family and you're in an average job, what bank is going to give you the money to get a $500,000 loan? That means you need to be a millionaire.
You're
So
not
how are
wrong.
these people? So how are these people in these homes? How are they in these apartments? Are there a bunch of family checking up together? Probably. And,
Yeah,
all
I
these
see
people,
that a lot nowadays
Yeah, that is the new way.
and
in
then the
my
apartments.
travels.
And then the apartment's going to be in trouble because why would you rent an apartment when you could just rent a home and just get a bunch of people together and buy a house they're never going to pay for? So now you got a situation where people are going to buy homes they have no intention or the ability to ever pay off, and they're just going to pay the note every month because it's cheaper.
Right?
Yeah, it's a conundrum, that's for sure.
Yeah, Melly fella told me just to move to a cheaper country.
Yeah, I heard 75 bucks a month in El Salvador for like average rent.
There are shortcomings to living in other countries, though.
Oh yeah, there's the pros and the cons. I really like Texas. You know, I'm really happy in this.
I
It's
think
like I'm in the country, but
I
But
think the
that's as
key.
close as you can get to living in
Well,
another country already. That
Well, I think the key people don't realize whenever we say that, what people are really saying is don't move to a socialist country. Every rat crap country typically is has the primarily socialist, and as long as you don't move to a primarily socialist country, you'll be good. Unfortunately, a lot of those places are socialized. I and and it's crazy. I remember last year in Honduras, like all the power in schools were all socialized. So they wanted to get away from that and have it where like you pay to go to school, but guess what? Since everything was pretty much socialized, people didn't have enough income on the daily to afford to send their kids to school or afford to do any of this stuff. So it's easy to get into it, but it's really hard to get your country out of it.
You know what's going to be interesting, Agent? You just kind of inspired a thought in my mind is when these crypto based economies really kind of take off. I was just listening to a guy talk about how the Shiba Inu token and the Doge token are two of the most popular tokens in every country. Like if you look at a country and use the chart that says which crypto is the most popular, you're going to see Doge or Shiba most likely. And these are people from all over the world that are creating market caps that did not exist. And now they got voting mechanisms and, in a national currency. I could easily see like nation states becoming replaced by what they're calling network states. That's when the future gets fun because that's when I think we could really root out a lot of this like hacking. Like I think the current administration is a bit compromised and they're hacking the system to, kind of tilt the wheel in their favor. But that's going to be down the road, maybe after a couple nuclear wars.
I don't know. It's all kind of whoever can control the normies control the universe.
Yeah, but there's so many. There's like, what is it? Almost 8 billion people. Now, there is a huge concentration of them controlled by certain establishments. Who's to say we can't create a positive network state that has, like, Facebook is a country in and of itself, right? I don't know what the latest actual, real profiles are, but it's over 1 billion. That's crazy.
It is huge.
TikTok's probably right behind it. And that's just, it's like a database, just a database of people communicating with each other in creative ways.
Yeah, and the funny thing is about TikTok, like if you look at the Chinese Communist Party's, like version of TikTok, like it is the polar opposite of what
Right?
we have here. Like
I
they
was
have,
going to say, Lep, what would keep us from replicating that? What if we created like a China based TikTok account where we post like Beans is always talking about, how to build something or, like just real edifying, positive content.
yeah, no, that's a good question because the reality is that, like if you look at some of their videos, they're all like empowerment videos that promote working, and basically they have every now and then they'll let like a Communist Party video go up of, um, like them doing a dance or something in the workplace. But by and large, it's all like either supporting the Communist Party, a little bit of like off the cuff dancing, like showing their support for the party. But then everything else is like people at work, people being productive, people doing things that matter, and things that build their society up, not things that are, degenerative like you see on our TikTok.
Hmm.
That's it. Basically our version is like poison. I mean,
Well,
it's poisoning people.
I think that's the culture because the algorithm only gives you what the people want. So it's an image of the society. Yeah, they push a little bit more for pro country stuff, but it's what society wants. And so like if you
Yeah.
look at stuff for like conspiracies on TikTok or food videos, that's all it's going to show you, and it'll trap you in a thought virus, right? You be in a
Yes,
thought
agent.
loop.
Everybody that's tried to sell me on TikTok has said that. They're like, TikTok's amazing because it shows you exactly what you want to see.
I mean, like Dean Dean, if you guys ever saw Ghost in the Shell, the standalone complex, there's one season. The storyline is about the individual 11. They had a thought virus. The thought virus was there was a book, a manifesto. There was like this anti-government, anti-war propaganda that 11 ex-soldiers would adhere to. The kicker is the book didn't exist. No one ever read it. And when you download the file, it implanted a virus inside you, and you couldn't get free from it, except for one person, Kuze, who got free from it out of sheer will. And that's some deep shit because that's real, right? So we looking at thought viruses that give you. It's kind of like when Hillary went on the debate and she said one thing, Putin's puppet. All of a sudden, that thought virus became real. All of a sudden, that became
Mm. Thought virus. They call that anchoring in neuro-linguistic programming.
Yeah. So I think thought viruses sound cooler though.
Yeah, how could we deploy a thought virus? You know, that's kind of like what we were talking about with Obama's campaign slogan. It was like a thought virus, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and unfortunately,
Antivirus.
yeah, and unfortunately, they just don't have a message on the other side. Like, one side wants full, like communist socialist ideas and agenda, the Green New Deal, all these climate initiatives. But I mean, CNN is already got it in hyperdrive, trying to convince people that there's a climate emergency and that, we've got to do something. But nobody can tell us what that something is. I mean, because
Hey,
batteries aren't going to save us. I mean,
hey,
Teslas aren't going to
didn't
save us.
didn't in like the early '80s or '90s we had a global ice age issue? So it was the opposite. So it wasn't global warming; it was global cooling. I
Yep,
specifically remember that.
yep,
So
I
did the
do.
science change? But
Mandela effect.
it was global cooling, and we gotta stop the ice age from coming. I mean, dude, it's
It
like
was Bernstein Bears.
I mean, it was hot during the dinosaurs. I mean, shit. Come on, people. It was hot
Well,
then.
and Veritas leaked a video a while back now that showed the CNN employee that was being seduced by one of their undercover journalists. That he was basically saying that now that Trump was out of office, now that they had the T-man gone, the next thing to move on to was to go right to the climate emergency thing and to push that agenda and to convince people that it was the most important issue. And I think they're still doing it to try and distract from the terrible economy and all the inflation and all the price increases, the housing crisis. Like, it is just one big distraction, to keep us pacified on another issue while everybody else is clearing out all the silverware on Titanic.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing to do is for people to just stop watching it, and you'll be amazed how many of those problems go away. But I don't think they can distract people from the fact that their check is gone as soon as they get it. And like I told prophets all the time, these people literally think that their voters will sacrifice everything for them. And at the end of the day, when people can't feed their kids and they don't have money, they don't give a fuck. All that goes out the window. I'm a Machiavellian, and they're not very good princes. Um, yeah, people get
Interesting.
angry. They didn't follow the rule. Trump broke one rule. He became hated, and that's how he got rid of. That's the one
Oh.
rule you don't break. And right now Biden is breaking that same rule. He's becoming hated now. And despised. So, um, yeah. I mean, dude. Yeah, it's done. Like when it
So,
comes to
hey guys, if something were to happen, then Kamala would become president, and then would Pelosi become vice president? How does that whole change of power work?
Not exactly. So the way I understand it, and I could be wrong, but what I understand based on what I've seen and heard is that essentially there will become a president. Kamala Harris will be president, and then in the interim, Pelosi will be backup. Vice president if something happens to the president. But then she would be responsible for essentially appointing a vice president. I mean, she could appoint Pelosi, but she wouldn't, because why would Pelosi want to give up that power to a position that's, largely symbolic unless you're needed?
Isn't this exactly what people said was going to happen? I think it was.
It is. It's verbatim. We said something's going to happen 2 years into the presidency, and Biden's either going to claim a health issue, a family issue, or some sort of a reason that he can't seek re-election. He's going to pass the torch off to Kamala. I think we talked about this.
Yeah, I'm hearing Agent reiterate this over and over in past shows.
Aren't you excited for Kamala to be president and to possibly meet aliens? Because humanity is all about being human, and human together, and humanity is all together human and humanity. Isn't that funny? I'm just laughing for no
Embracing
reason.
humans.
I'm just laughing for no reason.
Yeah, that nervous laugh, that is just so creepy.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like that whole who's the black lady with the short hair? She's like always giving the press conferences.
Yeah,
Oh,
her no idea what she's doing.
And then
yeah.
the guy that's like he looks like he's black and Arab or something, but they had them both on there today when a reporter asked them where Biden contact or possibly contracted COVID, right? And their answers were straight up, "That's not important," or something like that. It was just real weird, rude, and like dodgy.
Well, I
Speaking
already
of
had
that's not
cancer.
important, what happened to the whole contact tracing? We got to know who spread it to who. We've got to do this huge like investigation with every case, and then we just got to a point of don't know where it came from, but it doesn't matter now.
Exactly. It's
Weren't we
just
saying that in the
weird.
beginning too? I remember us saying that there's no way to trace and to contact trace all these people that are sick at the same time, and that it's a waste of time and resources. And now, when he finally gets sick with it, what do they say? The same thing we said in the beginning, that you focus on the people that are sick and you don't quarantine healthy people. Truth bomb.
Truth, red pill.
I wonder what the aliens are thinking right now.
A
They're
Maybe
thinking,
this
little
is a,
longer, just a little longer, and they'll take care of themselves.
yep,
maybe
then we
this
can
is just
get
like
the resources.
maybe this is a TV show, and all the aliens are watching us in real, like a life. You know how they have a real, what do they call it? The real TV stuff, where it's like
Oh, real world?
actual real life, and and everybody in the universe is watching us right now.
Man, I would not doubt it.
Reality.
I feel like my life is often kind of hijacked by like a hacker. Just the weirdest stuff has been happening lately, guys. Like I will think of somebody and then they'll text or I'll see like a picture of them or just the weirdest stuff. And it's like, I don't know, whatever, coincidence or not,
I'm
I'm
thinking
rolling with it.
I'm
Hey,
thinking
I gotta head
aliens
out,
are
guys.
password sharing on us like Netflix users are going, no thanks. I'm not it ain't worth paying full price to watch that show.
Yeah.
All right, well that pretty much wraps us at 30 minutes. You got any white pill for us?
You know, I don't I don't have any positive left in me right now,
Well, guess
except
what? Friday. That's
it's
positive.
Friday, baby. It's Friday. I mean, I'd like to say it's gonna be peaches and cream coming up in the next few months, but I mean, we just had rain for the first time in 40 some odd days. It's still triple digits every day. I'm watching videos of Lake Mead. It's at 23% capacity. They're saying possibly the worst drought in over 1,200 years. It's hot out there.
Dude, that's terrifying. But I'm glad that
It
you're doing all
really
right.
is.
I guess
Stay
we're all
cool up.
yeah, you too, man. Take care. You have a great weekend.
10-4.
Peace.